the major exchange we have right now, or when they mention exchange, the first thing that will be somebody's mind is finance, even though we have different types of exchanges. And then that is the type we call the centralized exchanges. And then we have the decentralized exchanges. When I mention something like Pancake Swap, those who go into decentralized exchanges, you have an idea. Now, when it comes to Forex, one of the major tools you need is MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5, or any of them, MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5. Okay, now let me just take it one by one. The MetaTrader 4 and the MetaTrader 5. Okay, now whether the 4 or 5 will be decided by your broker. If it is going to be MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5, that will be decided by your broker. For instance, I use a MetaTrader 4, and then on this particular app, it is connected with Hot Forex market. Now, when you go into brokers, some brokers support MetaTrader 4 and 5. They are almost the same, with just some tweaks of different. Okay, so that is about the MetaTrader 4. Now, let me just talk to you about a few features about MetaTrader 4. Now, if you have the MetaTrader, let's say you've just downloaded the MetaTrader, you are not connected to any broker. Anybody who downloaded MetaTrader right now, you will realize that you will see something like this. Quotes. Your background will be something like as I'm seeing right now. Okay. But you are only having access to the information because the Meta Code, which is the company that is responsible for MetaTrader, also have information linked to the Forex market. But you cannot deposit or withdraw if a broker is not integrated. So the broker now becomes the intermediary between the MetaTrader platform, your phone, and the Forex market. And we have many brokers in the system where you can choose which one to work with. So if you are here and you want to use any of my brokers, you can contact me as well. Now, the reason why it is recommended, or it is best to take a recommended broker, is one way or the other, the person training you had an experience with that broker. So when you have any problem, you have any challenges, he or she can help you through the process. Now, let's say you have a broker account and you want to link your account. What you have to do is that the three button, which is the menu button, most of us should know about it already. The menu button, which is that three button here on the top left corner. So as I click there, you see HFM, my name, and then HF Market demo. This is a demo account. So if you open them, you downloaded MetaTrader right now, you won't see any name. You only see Meta Coach and then some information about it. But once you open, you have your account. So what you can do is you click on Manage Account. Now, at this point, you already have an account with your broker and you want to link it to your MetaTrader 4. So what you now do is you click on this plus on the top left, right corner. Then you now have, you see, open a demo account and then log into an existing account. So at that point, the broker you are going to deal with, you are going to type the name of the broker. So for instance, let's say I want to use broker like FBS. So FBS comes with different types of server they have. If I want to use the Pepperstone, so let's say I want to use Pepperstone, it also comes with the types of market they have. Let's say I want to use the Admiral markets. It also comes with the types of server they have, the demo, then the live 2, and live 3. So if they give you live 1 information and you want to type in live 2, it won't work. Now, if it is hot Forex HF market, you can see the type of server they have. Now, how will you get this information? You will get this information at the back office, your broker's back office. Okay, so that is how. Then after you accept or you know the type of broker you want to use, you just click on it, and then they will give you a login ID or a login number and a password. You type it at the login, then the password, and make sure you always check the save password, because if you did not check it, you will always be needing it. Like you always have to type before you have access to your account. So that is very important. Okay, so that is how you link your, or the way to link your demo account or your account from a broker, integrate it to the MetaTrader. Now I already have it, so let me just go straight from there. Now when you do that, this is how your interface will be. So what you have to do now is, what do you want to do? Okay, now let's talk about the buttons. So when you come to the buttons, this aspect, that is the quotes, the shortcut for quotes. Okay. Then, if you want to see the chart, this aspect gives you the chart. If you enter a trade and you want to see the running trade, this gives you that effect. Now, if you want to see your history, this is what will help you see your history. So when you click it, it gives you history. Okay. Then the one that looks like a newspaper, like we all know newspaper already, is updates and information as far as the Forex market is concerned, including fundamental analysis. And then the last one is a pop-up notice from your broker. Okay, especially those who will not use risk management. Okay, those who will not use risk management, where the broker will tell you that your margin or you are over trading and all those stuff, you get that there. Okay, we'll get to understand all those ones. Now, let's go to the other way. And the other way is you go to menu, and then the shortcuts we've seen below, we see them there on the left panel under the menu. So we have the quotes, you see the arrow, the charts, the trade, the history, account monitoring, mailbox news, economic calendar, messages, traders community, trading applications, trading signals, and settings. Those are the informations there. Now let's go to quotes. Now, when the signal is given to you from ICX, you're on my WhatsApp platform, my Telegram platform, a signal is given to you. How do you get the signal? Where do you see the asset? I said Euro US dollar. Where will you see it? You will see it at quotes. So when you click on quotes, it displays the asset for you. It displays the asset for you. Now, before then, let's assume I give an asset that you can't find in this list. And then if we also look at it, you will see that some of the assets are not selected and some are selected. If you look carefully, gold US dollar and BTC US dollar is black. The rest look gray. Means that they are not selected. You cannot trade it, even though you can see the chart. Now, the ones that are selected also have a way that you can trade them, like BTC USD, new order. Now, gold is selected, but gold is selected and it's active. The ones that are not selected, you don't see the new order. When market is closed, you will not see the new order as well. You may see chart, but the chart will not be moving. Now, another thing you have to notice is what we call spread. Now, if you look at it, you see Euro US dollar, and then there is something under it, spread. The spread is very important. You must know the number of how much spread is going with the asset before you trade it. Okay, so that you don't trade where more of the profit goes to the broker. Okay. Now, some people, not all, some people, when you install the MetaTrader, let me see if I can get this. If you install your MetaTrader, you'll see the quotes like this. Just the asset name, then the bid and the ask price. Which one is the bid and which one is the ask price? So this zone is the bid price, and then the right one is the ask price. Okay, so we are going to look at that. Some of you already know about that already. Okay. Now, with this, you are not seeing the spread and all those information. Maybe you don't know. So I'm now telling you. It's very important. But if you don't see it, how do you get it? You must do your own calculation. The bid price minus or subtracting from the ask price gives you the spread. So when you take this value, 1.02230, if you take it and then subtract 1.02258 from it, it should give you the spread. Okay, but that is what is being given to you. Once you press and hold any of the codes and you go to advanced view mode, it gives you the spread and detailed information as well. All right. Now, if I give you the asset and you are not able to find it, okay, which asset is here? Okay, let's say USD or Great British Pounds trading against Japanese yen. You can't find it yet. What you have to do is just to click on the plus button. So the asset I mentioned, where can you find it? What category can it be found? Is it Forex? Now, when they say Forex, it's foreign exchange. So we're talking about, is it currencies? Is it indices, spot oil, shares, futures, cryptos, commodities, bonds, whatever. So we are looking at Forex. So you can see we have Australian dollar trading against Canadian dollar. Now, most signals you'll see shortcuts AUDCAD. You must know the name. Because when you go back, you don't see the name. Example is gold. Many people do mistake and select silver instead of gold because they see AXAG. SAG is silver and XAU rather is gold. So if you don't know the name that corresponds with the symbol, you end up doing a mistake. Okay, so you take note of that. So Forex, and then you just click on them. So I'm adding them. As you are tapping it, it is being added. I'm adding them. So that's how you add assets when you did not find them on your MetaTrader. Are you learning? You can make my chat box busy if you are learning. So I'm trying to add all just for learning purposes. But in other cases, it is best to add assets you trade, so you don't end up scrolling through the codes too much. Okay, so it's best to add assets you trade. For instance, what did you see when I first opened my MetaTrader? It's gold and BTC. That's what I trade most. Okay, those of you who come to my class, you know. Then let's say you want to add indices. They are also here. Maybe US 500, Dow Jones, US 30, NASDAQ. So you see, as you are clicking it, it's adding. Maybe you want to add futures. So if you don't even know what are futures, you've been hearing futures, or futures. These are examples of futures. US Tech, Wall Street. So Wall Street is a future. Shares in the European. So you want to buy Adidas. Those of you who spend too much time on Facebook, you can be trading there as well. So in the UK, you can buy a share from Air France, Adidas, BBVA, Bayer, Danone, name them, Lufthansa, Mercedes, you know, Volkswagen and Co. So you can add them as well. That is if you trade them. Now, UK shares, they're also there. If you trade them, you can add them. Spot oil, UK oil, and then US oil. Okay, you can, if you trade them, or if where you get your signal from, you trade them, you can add them. We have bonds, they're also there. The cryptos are there. That's more or less like the hybrids. Okay, when we talk about crypto, it's something like USDT trading against BTC. We have Ethereum trading against BTC. Those are cryptos. So I consider these ones as hybrids. Okay, so BNB trading against US dollar. That's a hybrid currency, like from one different environment. Okay, so let's say commodities, cocoa, coffee, copper, cotton, palladium, and all this stuff. So if you trade them, you can add them. So that is how you add assets if you did not find them. That's how you add assets if you did not find them. So this broker is a two-way broker. This is hot for us, but it's a two-way broker. It's a ECN broker at the same time a market maker, or just a straight-through processing broker. So the experience trading the Forex ECN is different from the normal Forex. Okay, when we go into a layer of brokers, we will understand that. Okay, so that is it. Now, what next? Now you know how to add quotes. Sorry about that. Let me. Okay. I have to turn the phone on flight mode quickly to avoid other distractions. All right. So let me know if you can hear me. Now, if I want to deal with the signals now, I have to select it. Now, selecting it, I have to now press and hold. Okay. So I'll press and hold, then open chart. No matter how you trust your signal provider, don't just go to new order. No matter what, view the chart. Okay, view the chart. So I'll come to open chart. Now, anybody, if you install a broker, you'll be seeing two windows as default. Okay, you can see something like RSI team. Let's forget about that. You can see some white and purple line. Let's forget about it. Okay, the white and the purple line, I added it myself. But anybody here who install MetaTrader, you see something like two windows. We have window 1 and window 2. So let us assume you are not interested in any of them. What do? You click on the F. Yeah, that one that looks like F summation. You click on the delete. You just select all. That's the two buttons at the top. You click on this. Okay. Then just select all and delete. So watch it carefully and observe it. Don't just look at it. Don't just watch it, but observe it so you can be able to get it faster. All right. Now, this is the chart. And let's say the signal is given and you don't want to go to the quote, which is the first left button bottom. You don't want to go there. Or you don't want to go to the menu. You just want to remain on it. And maybe you have BTC USD. You can click on that arrow. You can click on this, the dollar sign with the rotation. That actually is a sign that tells you can change currency. Okay. So when you click it, you have access to all the currencies in the quote you've added in a quote. So you can then now click any of them and view the chart. That's the other way to view the chart without going back to the quote. Okay. So we are done with that. Another important thing we need to look at, every other thing is important actually. Now you want to place the order. Where do you click to place the order? Okay, so you click on this button. something like A4 sheet and a plus inside, or a paper and a plus inside. You click that, and then it takes you to where you can place your order. Now you are not looking at the chart anymore. You are not looking at the chart anymore. Now, even if you get to the chart, and then, you get to where you execute the trade, and you still want to change currency, that is still possible. You click on the X again, this button, click on it again, you can be able to change your currency. Okay, as simple as that. Now we have few things here. Don't forget, this is the decision time. Okay, you are now going to make a decision. You are going to buy or sell, and this is where you decide how much you are going to lose or earn from. Now, the first thing you can see is the name of the asset. XAU USD is gold spot on the top left corner. And beneath it is market execution. Now, the market execution, when you click on the corner here, when you click there, it gives you a drop down. And that drop down, where you can see market execution, buy limit, sell limit, buy stop, sell stop. Now, we've already treated some of these topics, right? Pending order. Okay, so I always say, if you are a teacher, you can do your analysis, all right, and then execute all your trade for the week by pending order, buy stop, sell them, and all this stuff. So we'll relook at that again. Then we do it practically as well on the phone. Okay, we'll do it practically again on the phone. Now we are dealing with market execution. So the next thing you see is an interesting aspect from negative 0.1, negative 0.01, and then you see something like 1.01. And the right hand side, just like oh, I forgot the name, that thing we draw in school. Then we have positive 0.01 and then positive 0.1. Okay. Then what again you see is price, current price. Now that price cannot wait for you. That price never waits for anybody, especially when market is highly volatile. It will be going up and down, up and down, up and down. So you don't delay too much making decisions here, because you have already spotted where you want to enter your trade from. The more you delay can take some few negatives from you, even though it has advantages and disadvantages. Okay. So bid and ask price is still here, which is this number moving, and you see it is red and changes to blue again. When it is red, it's telling you that, okay, market is selling, market is buying, market is selling, or price is selling, price is buying, like that. It's a down, up, stop. Then the numbered negative line is called the lot size. That's where you put your lot size. Now, when you download MetaTrader, mostly that figure comes default. It comes default. Okay. So that doesn't mean you should just enter buy and sell with that value. Now, anytime I see people posting results, the first thing I look at to see if you're a new trader is that aspect. Many people use 1.0, thinking that's the lowest lot size. Okay. Now, you can reduce this in two ways. One, if you want to increase it, you can increase it by 0.1 or 0.01. If you want to reduce it to, you can reduce it point negative 1, sorry, point negative 0.1, negative 0.01. You can reduce it any of them. So let's reduce it first. Let me click on point negative 0.01. You see what happened? What happened is that the 1.01 changed to 1.00. Okay. So if you want to increase it to, you can increase it like that. Sometimes it might really delay you. But the reason why this is also necessary is that some calculators, sorry, some keypads are not able to type the point and all those things too well. Okay, so that's an alternative way to utilize it as well. Okay, but if you don't want that, you can just highlight it. How do you highlight? You press and hold, it will select all. That's one. Number two, you click at the end, the right hand end where the cursor is. What is blinking is the cursor. Then you just press the backspace key. Now, when you press the backspace key, the minimum lot size here is 0.01. That's the minimum lot size. Now, what can you observe? What you can observe immediately is that the negative 0.1 and the negative 0.01 is no more active, or you can select. That alone tells you that that is the minimum, the lowest lot size you can use on that particular asset. Now, the next thing is maybe your account size is big a little. So you want to maybe use 0 point something else. Okay. Or you have a position size calculator that gives you a special lot size you want to use. So you can now type whatever you want to type. So I just type 0, then point. Maybe I want to use 5, 6. Let's see. Then after that, am I giving stop loss and take profit? If yes, where do I put the stop loss? So the left button on the right, which is this side, is where you put your stop loss. And this side is the TP. The take profit goes with the green button. And the stop loss goes with what? The red button. And when you enter the trade and it is going in your favor, the panel is blue. And then if it is going against you, the panel changes to red. Okay, so at least we have all indicators to even tell you how your market is going already. Now, please, no matter how the situation, do not make a decision in the market before entering at least stop loss. Don't do it. Okay, it's not a good idea. Now, the value given you, especially ICS members and those on my platforms, you realize that will give you take profits and stop loss. So ICS profits, you can just go and copy the stop loss value and paste at the stop loss side, and copy the stop loss, the take profit value and paste at the take profit side. That is why we tell you that our signals are copy and paste signal. You copy the values and you paste here. Okay. So if I give you a value for Excel, which is stop loss, TP, which is take profit, you type those values there. So I'm just assuming something. So when you look at what's happening right now, the values are almost the same. Okay. So let's go back to the chart and let me show you something before I come back here. But then let me take off the values. So I'm taking off the values. So I'm either buying or selling. Now, 2 minutes to 2 minutes to 9 p.m. kind of time, and the gold market will go off and open at what's the name? Now, what happened is that if I enter this trade right now without stop loss or take profit, it means that market is losing on me. So when market reopens, when there is price adjustment against me, market will go a negative I may not like. If it goes in my favor, that is fine. Now in trading, a second can produce a result. Okay, so I'm just entering a buy. So you see order is open. Now the first thing you see is Manchester United. So we traders, even though if you are a Man U fan, if you are a trader, you have to by force become a Chelsea fan. Now that first negative you saw is the spread. So if the spread is still a negative to you, you are responsible to pay the spread from your profit. So even if you enter the trade and the trade is in a peak profit until you paid the broker, you will not start seeing blue. But when you enter the trade and the negative, the peak is still going in negative, that means your negative is increasing. But it is not soaking your money yet. Okay? So when you enter a trade, don't expect to see profit at once. Now, the first negative you saw was somewhere $25. So let's say you are trading with $100 and you want to choose 0.56. Do you think you are doing good to yourself? No. So 80% of people who say they lose in trading, especially new traders, it is not their fault. They didn't choose the lot size well. So you can imagine if I use 1.0, how much first negative I see, which some brokers will not even allow you to even execute the trade. Okay, so these are important things that you need to know when you are making your decision. Now we go back to the chart. And then let's look at some important stuff. Now let's say I give you a signal with a price of 19, 17, 16. How will you get that price? Okay. So on the right side of the panel, from here, okay. This layer displays the price for you. Those are the prices of gold USD. So always make sure that price is within that range. Maybe I've given you 1916 and then price is at 1916.1. If it is cool with you, you can what? Take the trade. But if that difference is not too cool with you, you can set a pending order. Simple as that. Now, manually, you've seen that some of the assets, some of the prices are there. We have intervals of the prices. Okay, so with the intervals of the prices, how do you see the exact place price is? You see the gray and the red pattern. Let me put the time frame. Okay, so these two, gray and the red, the one displaying the 1719.46, then 1720.05. Your price is between that. The reason is because of the spread. So the spread will be calculated, then price set for you. Now, when we look at the price, the trade we took, that is that dotted green line. That's where we took the price. That was not where we took the price. We took the trade. But because of the spread, that is where the broker puts our price, our trade. We say we are buying. So the broker have to add his or her pips as far as the spread is concerned and add to your trade. That's why when you are buying, you enter the trade at 1, and then you realize that the trade is actually maybe at 1.2 because you have to pay the 0.2 first. Okay, that one will go into detail along the line. So that is how you see the price. Another way to see the price is you touch the chart once, and then click on the pattern that looks like that have the circle, the triangle, and the square. That button. Then you can now have access to the vertical line, horizontal line, the trend lines, or lines, channels, Gann, Fibonacci, Elliott, and shapes. Okay. Now, the reason why you need these two, even if you are not a technical analyst and you are not a technical trader, you are just a signal trader, you need at least the vertical and the horizontal. But if you are an analysis person, you need everything here. Actually, I use the vertical, horizontal, trend line, the arrow line. I don't normally use the trend by angle. Sometimes I use the equidistance channel as well. Some people do use the channel, the regressions, and the pitchfork based on the type of trader or technical analyst you are. And then I also use Fibonacci retracement. Okay, some people use the fan, especially the harmonic traders, and then some people also use Elliott waves. I don't actually use that one that much. And then shapes, I use rectangle a lot. So we use the rectangle to spot zones or demands and supplies. We also use it to spot where we feel price has accumulated or consolidated for a very long time. Okay, so that is the objects you can use. Now, when it comes to the horizontal line, especially signal traders, you use the horizontal line to spot your trade. So I just added a line, a purple color line, and where I added it, it goes with the price 17.70. So let's say they give me price at maybe 17.17. Okay, so I can now adjust it towards 17.00. So as I'm dragging down, you realize that it's going down to help me get the exact price I'm looking for. Don't forget that a pip is important. Okay, so 0.03020. So that actually helps you to get the intermediary prices. Now that is the exact price. That's your price, not the broker's price. So let's say you want to set a limit order or a stop order, you need to know the exact price and annotate it down. You have to set it down with a line. Then you can now take the figure and copy or write it in the command line or where you want to do your execution. That is one reason why it is very important to know at least that one. Now, you can press and hold and then change the color, modify the color or the thickness or how you want it to look on the chart, or delete it. So let's say I want to edit it. I'll click on that. That shoulder looks like pencil. Okay, so we now have the name. Let's say you are doing analysis to the extent that you want to even give a name to the line you used. You can also edit it. You can edit the name. Write whatever name you want. So the points we have put it on the chart is 1717 according to us, but in price it's not actually 1717, it's 1716.99102. Right, let's leave that one. So you can also modify it to make it adjust. And then the symbol, then the time frame. When you put the line on any time frame, do you want it to be on all of that time frame, or you just want to see it on a specific time frame? So let's say you are doing analysis on 1 hour time frame and you spot something on 5 minute time frame, you just want to indicate it. That you can set all those things here. I know my old students are getting angry because I didn't went this deep for them before. Well, that's why every day is a learning day. Okay, now we have style. How do you want the line to look like? So we have the thickness. Okay, I always like to use the first 2 pixels, but maybe you want to see it big, you can actually use 1 pixel or 2 pixels, and then you can change the color to whatever color that you want. And I know the ladies like the pink lines, the white and the red and the blue lines. So, and the men, we like the harsh colors. Okay, so you can also choose a color that is suitable. Sometimes you can make the child look good for yourself, actually. Okay, so maybe I want to use any color apart from what we selected before, maybe white. Okay, so after I'm done, I'll click done. So the line has changed. Now, the next important thing as well, especially if you just want to pick signals, okay, the next important thing you must also have an idea is the vertical line. And the purpose of the vertical line is for you to identify period. Okay, so we have a default period separator that you can add to your chart, but we also have intermediaries, intersections of the periods separated. So a signal is given to you at 9 p.m. and you want to know at 9 p.m. or 9:1, maybe you saw the signal at 9:2. You want to know where was price when the signal was given, and where is price now. The time you are seeing the signal, where is market currently? Because a signal can be given and in 2 seconds the signal hit TP. Maybe there is a fundamental analysis before. So market pulled and went back to maybe entry or a little bit before you even entered the trade. By that time, those who took the trade and nanoseconds ahead of you might even take their profits and all those stuff. Okay, for instance, let's look at this chart here. Look at this particular candle. Let me see if I can annotate it. This particular candle here, that's just 1 minute candle, where price is from 1717.65 and then to almost 1719. So when a signal is given 1717 or 1717.65, and you saw the signal 2 minutes later, and it's a buy signal, and price is currently at 1719. Do you think you should enter? That's the question. Okay, so you need horizontal, a vertical to help you get that right. So how do I get it? I'll press on the chart, and then the shape, the plus. Now, let me say this. Now, on default, you see the objects there. And once you add a signal. Once you add an object, you will not see all of them arranged there. So you see the plus. You click on the plus, and you now select whichever one you want. Now you want vertical line. So vertical. So you've seen it. That blue line there on the top there. And then what you have to do is that you can just press where you want to put it. You can then put it anywhere, then later adjust it. So let's say I want to put it here. So I can then later adjust it. So it also helps you to set your periods. It's also helping technical analysis as well. Now, another point you need to get is how to use the crosshair. Okay, the crosshair is this button that helps you to calculate the number of candles. The circle is the crosshair, the number of candles, the time and the date as well. It also helps you do that. So if you don't want to use the lines, you can use that. I see the lines becomes permanent. The crosshair, as far as you are moving it, it is moving. Okay, so that is what you can also use. Now, how do you use it? You click on it. So let me click on it. It is selected. So now, as I'm moving my hand on the chart, it is the crosshair that I am moving. So it goes with the time beneath, and then the price on the right hand side. So based on how you move it, gives you how the price is moving on the chart as well. Okay, so that's also one important thing you need to know. Now, after you are done, you click it back like this, and then it goes off. Now, the trade we entered, market is not currently moving. Market will move 10. That's a gold market for you. Okay. So even you hear that the forex market is 24/7, but in between sometimes market closes and open, especially 9 and 10 thereabout. So we want to see the trade running. We'll click on this particular button down here to give us how prices market is moving. Okay, so that is here. So the time market is closed, it closed with 29.12, but we are seeing negative 34.5. When you subtract it, you'll be looking at somewhere 5 point something, 4.9 thereabout difference. What is that? That is spread. Sorry, that is swap. That is swap. So when you are in a trade and market opens, close and opens on you, you pay swap. Now, when the interest rate favors you, you will gain swap. So you either pay swap or gain swap. But in most cases, we pay swap. I think it's only 2 times I received swap ever trading. Okay, so that's why at that point the negative is not the same. So when you are in positive, it will not be the same as the positive you see at the top. And it's not that the broker is stealing you, it's normal. Okay, that's why some people don't hold trade for market to close and open. But as far as you call yourself a swing trader, these things will happen to you. As far as your trade did not hit stop loss or take profit, and you don't want to close it manually, you want to hold it overnight or a day to break on it, you will pay swap. Okay, so that is it for that aspect. You can start dropping your questions in the chat box. Now, those of you who use it for analysis, okay, you can actually turn the phone on auto rotate and use landscape. Okay, you can also use landscape to do your analysis. Now, when you turn in landscape, it's just going to look like the PC for you as well. Okay. So my MP is here. She always uses phone to trade. I have a lot of people who use phone to trade. Okay, but I prefer laptop. Okay, so when you open the chart, you can zoom in or out the chart. I always advise you zoom out so you can be able to see historical data. So you can be able to see historical data. Okay, if you don't zoom out, you can't see historical data. Some people like to trade like this because they want to see the candlestick. Please, it's not a good idea. You can't see anything, and all decision you make will be wrong. There is no beauty in the candlestick. So always make sure that's we have 5 zooms, so you can look at it from which one is comfortable with you, and based on the time frame you are as well, also gives you the difference. Now, as you are changing the time frame, you realize that the outlooks are not the same. The outlooks are different. Okay. Now, this is just MetaTrader 4. Okay. And the last thing I want to mention is that thing at the top that looks like clock. It gives you time. Okay. So we have the M1, M5, M15, M30, H1, H4, D1, W1, and MN. Monthly time frame. Let me take it from the bottom. Monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and 1 minute. Now, the advantage, one of the advantage between the two assets is on the MetaTrader 5, they still break some of the time frames for you. Okay, and the interface is a little bit different. Even on the on the PC version 2, it's a little bit. Okay, so that is it. If you want to add indicators, you click on the F button, moving average, Achimoku, Bollinger Bands, oscillators, and add oscillators. You can add volumes. You can also add Bill Williams as well. So if you want to add indicators, you click on the F, and then you choose whichever indicator you want to use. Okay, when you click on the indicator, everything that comes as default. So if you're using a customized indicator, for instance, moving average, the last moving average I used on this chart is 200. But maybe you want to use a different parameter, a shift number different, the method, maybe the young exponential. We have simple, smooth, linear weighted as well. And then we have the apply to open, close, high, low, median price, typical price, and then weighted close. They all have different rules they play. Don't just click and then. So anybody who gives you a moving average, don't just ask of the name of the moving average. Also just ask for parameters. The parameters define the type of moving average is it. So if I tell you that I'm using moving average 200, okay, and you just say, okay, Mark is using moving average 200. Is it exponential? Is it simple? Is it smooth? Is it linear weight? and how do I apply it? Okay, so that is also very important. And then the ones that have levels too, you can add the level information, especially oscillators. They have levels. You can add the levels as well. And that is how you can add indicators. So let's say I'm adding 200 exponential moving average applied to close. And the color I use is white. And that is it. When we get there, we'll look at how they also work. All right, so that is it for. All right, then last two, but not the least, is let's say you want to edit. Maybe you don't like the black background. You want white background. You want to change the candlestick to fit yourself. Okay. Now, go to menu, come to settings, you scroll the chart, you go to colors, customize color. Okay, then you can make your changes here. So from the scheme, we have default already. So I choose the default and custom it. So we have black on white and then green on black. So when you choose black on white on default and done, this is what you see. That's what you see. So personally, I use black for all the backgrounds based on protection of the eye. Okay, so the square dotted lines are grid lines. If you don't want them to, you can go back to the same settings. Okay, and then colors. So we have a grid. You can just choose it to match the background color. Okay, that's white. So you choose it white. So let's say the bar app, that's the candle bar app. Let's say you want green. Candle bar app. Add down you want maybe red, or let's say you want purple. Okay, bull candle must match green, and then the bear candle you also choose purple. If you customize it like that, that is what you will see. That's what you will see. Okay, the color being red or green doesn't really matter. Mostly I said it doesn't really matter if it is green. It doesn't have anything to do with the market movement. It is just giving you the mindset that this candle is a bull candle. Okay, I'll do a special training on how to really identify if a candle is a bullish candle or a bearish candle. Now, that color thing actually deceive a lot of people and they enter a wrong trade. Okay, especially when you're into other block strategy. It's very important. Okay, so that is how you can change stuff on your phone on your MetaTrader 4. If you want to add period separators, where is it? Yeah, so show period separator, you check it. If you want to show volumes, anything you want to show, if you want to disable the axe and axe line and all those stuff, you can still do that. So you see the vertical dotted line, that's a period. That means within 1 day, that's how market. So that's what period separated also does. But in case the market becomes very close, we zoom in and they might even be affecting you. That's why sometimes you don't see it on our chart. Okay, the grid also helps you to understand the micro pips and the medium pips and all those stuff. So that is how you can go about the MetaTrader 4. Okay, so the last, let me just use a few minutes and glance through the MetaTrader 5. Okay, so we know we killed that topic fully. Okay, so the MetaTrader 5, the interface looks the same, but just a little twists. Now, when you want to see the quotes, don't worry, these quotes are different broker. Okay, so this is not clearance, but this is for just demonstration purposes. Okay, so we have the assets. You've seen that the properties are different. The sample mode is also there. The advanced view mode is also there, and stuff like that. You can also add assets. Yeah, and then we have the chart in the bottom. And then this one, the quotes, they write it. You see it quotes. The chart, they write it charts. The where you see trade information, you see trade, then history, and messages. Okay, so all these things, they also get updates. Once a while they update them. Okay, so that is it. The crosshair is the same. The F function is the same. Changing currency is also the same. But one thing that differs is while you see clock on the MetaTrader 4, it's not clock. You can cascade the window. You can break the window into two. So let's say you want to see two assets at a time. You can be able to just see two assets running at a time. Or you want to see the same asset but on different time frames. It gives you that ability as well. So those are few changes you can see. So I want to remove it and stuff like that. Then you can see the prices also at the same place. Then another point is that over here, when you click on the chart and the other stuff scheme, you can just see the settings direct and just go to the settings direct and do whatever changes you want to do in colors and every other stuff. So it's as simple as that. So I said the last but not the least. So the last is auto rotate. Okay, so auto rotate where I want to use my MetaTrader in a landscape format. Okay, for analysis purposes, it's also there for you to turn. Once you turn it like this, you'll feel you're even using PC, where you can now do your work. Now, with that, when you touch the screen, the approaches are different. Okay, so on the right hand side, and the time frames are there. On the left hand side, you see the first button is new order, entering a trade, settings, changing currency, indicators, the figures, the objects, crosshair, and all those stuff. Okay. Another thing I didn't mention is type of chart. Yes, you can see the charts on candlestick, bar, and then line. I think you can do that setting. Let me see. So chart line type, we have the bar charts, the candle, and the line. So if you can also use any of them to make your trade. Okay, so that is it. Line is the line, and then stuff like that. All right, so you can do the same thing on the MetaTrader 4 as well. So just that we mostly use candlestick. So MetaTrader 4 too, you can rotate it at the same time as well. You can rotate it, and then we added volume. There's the volume. If you know how to trade volume, you can add that to it and enjoy your trading lifestyle. All right, so this is it for tonight. I believe I I solve everybody's problem tonight. The old Zoom doesn't give us the assets to use the phone. So I have to upgrade my personal Zoom to make this a success. So you have to clap for me for that, actually. And then dedicated people who really want to be in this game, we will have some days for practicals where you will do it one by one. Okay. The ability of you being swift alone, like the method is just like driving. So let's say you are driving a manual car, you know where your gear position, you are driving. It's the same way to trading. So they won't say, I wouldn't say enter a trade. Now you are looking for where can I find, where can I not find, where can I find? Just like Mavis Beacon for typing speed. So you'll be looking for A1, B1, and Ghanaians. Where is Nigeria? Where is A? Where is B? You press and press for you to improve your typing skills. The same way, you must make sure you are very conversant with your MetaTrader platform. Very, very, very important. Okay. So until then, I think the next class will be Wednesday, same time, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay. If you want a recording, I'll put it on the YouTube channel where you can watch it and also recommend it to someone to understand MetaTrader. So ICS members, now you know the interface of the MetaTrader. Okay. So you can start taking signals, or see, not even on live, you can start taking it on demo, practicing it. Okay, you practice it, you put in small your heart. When you are losing, you see how it feels. When you are winning, you see how it feels, and start controlling your heart, your emotions until you are ready to trade and you put in money. And when you want to trade, please do not borrow money to trade. Do not also trade for anybody. It is not a good idea. Now, learning Forex is no more like those days, where it's too expensive or like it's hard to even get people to teach you. We have basic app you can use to get the skills before you break it down. Okay, so it's very important. I'll see you all on Wednesday, question time.